But really, there is also the wider Kenyan public to be looked into. And these are the issues that we consider. So to say that if you give the regulation to the Media Council and then we will all be okay, I don't think I want to agree.
Okay,
with
fine.
that.
So when you mention
let's go back to that incident of reporting about the Nation, that they published that picture.
Yes.
Are you aware that action was taken, apart from the apology, action was taken against the people without reference to anybody? Themselves did it.
Well, if they kept it to themselves, how would I know? But all I know is that they issued a muted apology.
Actually,
you
you also have a duty. Sorry,
Intervene.
given that you're a member of this bill, you also have a duty to keep yourself informed.
But,
so
no,
this
but
apology that you're calling muted,
Yes.
there was an apology in the paper,
Yes.
there was an apology on various broadcast and media platforms, there was an apology on social media, and it was made clear that the team that worked on that paper and took that decision had been dealt with. They had been reprimanded, people had been sacked.
Well,
you know, so when you talk about, the media's conduct, we accept that it's not an exact science, just the same way you as politicians have also let down the Kenyan public. The question becomes, are you taking punitive measures against the Kenyan media? Are you trying to rein in the Kenyan media?
I don't think you want to, of course, from where you sit, it may look that way. But remember, even without this law, and Macharia, you should know this, we have had in this country before where people have been fined up to 30 million, even without this law. So what we are saying, that it's a provision of up to 20 million. And at that time when those fines were being levied of up to 30 million, there was no law governing that. So it was more or less...
Those were not fines. Those are penalties for defamation.
Yeah,
libel.
Well,
They were not fines. They were the compensation for defamation.
But at the end of the day, you were paid.
But that was then.
Because a criminal offense had taken place.
Yes.
Those laws still exist.
Yeah.
They are not made redundant by these new proposed laws. Secondly, the Media Council has been working. If it has shortcomings,
You strengthen it.
it can be strengthened, not killed. Reference has been made to coverage of Watergate.
Westgate.
West-
Oh, sorry.
West-
There's a lot of water involved in this thing. Okay. I'm intrigued to hear the MP say that that the media may have reported in a way that helped the terrorists
Inadvertently.
escape. Because
I
from
totally-
all our briefings, we have been told no terrorists escaped. They were all killed. So that is news for us to look into. Secondly, there was that Sunday Nation picture. I'm not here representing a nation. And I think I was as horrified as everybody else. And so are very many
Of course, we have to make it clear that you do work for the
At
nation, but
Nation.
you're here in your
Yes.
capacity as the chair
Yes.
of the Kenya Editors
But
Guild.
I don't think we have ever seen the nation carry a page 1 apology of that length. I don't think there is any other media house in this country where an editorial director has been suspended. That happened. Joseph Odindo was suspended for 1 month. He took responsibility for that decision. It has never happened. So action was taken. And more action can be taken if anybody complains to the Media Council or any other authority. The Media Council can be strengthened. If the President himself has sought recourse with the Media Council,
And the former First Lady.
and the former First Lady, and so many other people, and so many other cases are being had every day, where is the complaint? Who has complained that the Media Council is not working? It may have its shortcomings, maybe it is not strong enough, but the solution is not to kill it, because what these laws do is kill it and take the regulatory powers to a body which is not the one envisaged in the Constitution.
Okay. When you say that the Media Council can be strengthened, then how can it be strengthened if there are people like the Honorable Gumbo here who feel that it's not doing anything?
No. I didn't say it's not doing anything. I said it's not doing enough.
He said there have been serious lapses.
Yes, serious lapses.
Yeah.
And so because of those serious lapses, you
Yes.
feel that its responsibilities
Yeah,
so
but-
far should be taken
but
away
I
and given to
I
another
think, good
body.
luck, we shouldn't miss the point.
Okay, what's your point?
Even if the fine was 20 shillings, there has to be a transgression before you incur that fine.
Right.
What we are trying to look at, because there have been transgressions, Macharia, and you cannot say they have
That is
not
why
been
the
there.
Media Council
Like,
has
Yes.
for example, I'll give you, sometimes And the Westgate the whole country was petrified, and therefore it came out. But there are small transgressions that go on all the time. Like the other day, I was looking at a report in a daily newspaper, which was saying that somebody had sued one of my colleagues for parental support. And this somebody who had sued one of my colleagues for parental support claimed that they met once with that colleague of mine. It was not me. I don't think I'm handsome enough to attract such people. But it was not me. And then they met once. And 3 years later, a child was born. I mean, are we talking about
there is a libel law. What you are proposing is not right. That man who was defamed should go to court and should be paid.
Had somebody sued or not?
Yeah.
No, this somebody had sued. But what I'm saying, that obvious lapse, can the media contain it even before? Can the media council contain it even before?
If somebody had sued and somebody has gone to court, the media will report he has gone to court. It is not the job of the media to scrutinize
whether it's true that it's possible.
Whether it's possible that
it's a court matter.
But you see, no. I think you're missing the point. This was reported by the media. Honestly, when we discharge our duties, even as a parliamentarian, there's an element.
Was the MP sued in court?
The MP was sued in court.
Then the business of report has to report.
No.
A court matter.
No. But when I discharge my duty, should it be devoid of common sense? That I say I met you 3 years ago, and 3 years later.
Let me just say, Mheshimiwa, I mean, that is really, really strange by my assessment.
Yeah.
Because you see, the media should not take responsibility for the initial act or a lack of. Yeah. We are reporting a matter that is in court.
Which is privileged.
That lady has sued that gentleman for an alleged, whatever. The matter is in the public domain. Once it goes to court, it's no longer private. Yeah. You can't blame the media for taking out that matter. In fact, by virtue of that person being a leader, it attracts attention that a leader has shirked the responsibility which they should take.
But what
that is the nature of the media.
It is a court matter.
But let me address the matter of Westgate.
Yes.
I mean, first, the public and the politicians are in the habit of blaming the media sometimes for things which are beyond the media's scope. Like happened in 2007 post-election violence. Of course, everybody latched on the media, but the politicians are the ones who say those things that the media reported. In the case of Westgate, you appreciate that it wasn't just the media reporting. Everybody on social media, in fact, if the terrorists were helped, it was by social media, tweets and word and everybody who was doing it, rather than what appeared in the mainstream media. I don't remember anything graphic that would have assisted the...
Macharia,
let me also say something. You see, the media is the custodian of public interest. It reports from public. What does the public want to know? And if the information is not forthcoming, and they need to know. But when the public, when the authorities, when the people who are involved in it are not giving information, the media has the responsibility to go out and get that information. And it cannot be faulted, crucified for so doing. In that process, they'll have a few lapses, they'll make mistakes, because, of course, as you know, in this country, access to information is very difficult, which you should be helping us to do. Make it possible for journalists to access information, not make it more difficult for us to serve.
No. I think we are missing the point here.
Okay.
There was this picture which was shown on one of our television channels, Primetime News. And Primetime News is a family thing.
Yes.
Of this poor watchman who was hiding behind the tusks at Westgate. The terrorists shot him, he moved, and he was again. Honestly, when we allow such kind of things, what are we? I'm watching news. News is not censored. I will watch news with my children. Okay. What are you telling a 10-year-old when you can see that the terrorist you are showing, even if those kind of detailed, it is expected that something.
The truth is,
that's a family.
There'll be professional lapses because journalists will also work under pressure. They'll have shortcomings. They need information.
What pressure, Macharia? This was shown weeks after the event. What pressure are you talking about?
Just a minute, okay.
I think we have agreed that there can be lapses, and there will be lapses, as with that Sunday Nation front page.
Yeah.
Or as with those
images.
Yeah.
That was Cheche on KTN.
Yeah.
But
that,
also you
that
have to
particular
accept,
clip.
Yeah.
you also have to accept that this was during an extraordinary circumstance. But also, as David points out, in a particular circumstance where access to information was difficult. Now, you are talking about that one image. We remember that our fellow journalists, the Inspector General of the Police wanted to arrest those journalists and then backed down after an outcry. And so the question again becomes, can you, because of those lapses, take away the principle of self-regulation from the media?
Well, I don't think we have quite taken away the principle of self-regulation.
We're certainly on that slope.
Yeah, the penalties are there, and of course the penalties, because what I have seen and what is primarily the outcry is the quantum of the penalties. And we have said that laws are made here. In fact, you are aware, Macharia, that when we made the Kenya Information and Communications Bill 2008, it was relooked at. It was looked into again. And let us not look like what we have proposed and what has gone. It is with the president. It is not for me to say whether I will sign it or not. But should he decide not to sign it, who is saying the door is closed? We can.
Why give him that task of signing something to be returned back?
Yes.
Why give him that?
I think the problem is not merely on the penalties. One, it is on the process that was used where
to arrive at that.
A negotiated document is dismembered or ignored. Secondly, the whole constitutional issue of who regulates the media, that is what we are saying has been flouted. Now, if there had been engagement, there would be which was faithfully adhered to, there would have been no problem, because what would have passed in Parliament eventually is something which would have had the input and accord with all stakeholders. Here is where Parliament went on its own and mutilated what had been agreed on. That is the problem. So it is not just simply a matter of the penalties. We still insist that the Communications Commission of Kenya, or Communications Authority, is not the body that ought to be that ought to be dealing with content. Yeah. Secondly, there is no code of conduct within the Communications Commission by which content will be judged.
Okay, we have to take a break now. We'll come back to these issues in greater detail. But for the minute, this is Cheche, live on Citizen TV. We're hearing arguments for and against the new media law passed by the National Assembly last week with the Honorable Nicholas Gumbo, who's a member of the Committee on Information, Communication and Energy, as well as Macharia Gaitho, a columnist and the chair of the Kenya Editors Guild. If you've got any questions or opinions for them, the SMS number is 22422 and the Twitter handle is Cheche_TV.